Dear brothers, the moment we have all, consciously or unconsciously, been waiting for, has arrived. We are finally free. Thanks to the One People Public Trust Procedure, better known as OPPT 1776, which consists of a series of filings of legal documents with the UCC, Uniform Commercial Code, which is the legal body that regulates commercial transactions in the United States and whose laws are internationally adopted, and with the SEC in Washington, Security and Exchange Commission, which is the U.S. federal agency in charge of overseeing the stock exchange and with which all the states in the world are registered as publicly traded companies. All government corporations, banks and the entire legal system have been canceled, divested and foreclosed. Basically, all debts have been canceled and the system as we have always known it doesn't exist anymore. It's not longer legitimate and it will be replaced by a new governance. Of course, the protectors of the status quo continue to play their dirty game, because they can still count on the consent of most people, who are unaware of all this, but their actions are illegitimate and illegal internationally. In fact, among the documents filed and ratified by OPPT 1776 with the UCC, there is also a military executive order, which stipulates that all world law enforcement agencies will take action as soon as possible in arresting and taking into custody all those who continue to perpetrate now decommissioned, annulled and foreclosed system of slavery. So, the transition will unfortunately not be automatic. But if now, you don't want to be enslaved by money anymore, labor and all the harassment enacted under the old system, self-determined through the OPPT 1776 procedure. This will enable the establishment of a new governance, structured on brotherhood, equality, abundance, freedom and unconditional love. Money is no longer provided, all forms of slavery are permanently abolished and crime has no longer any reason to exist. Each one of you who self-determines will contribute to the creation of the new governance, being an integral part of it, and free man, no more under the jurisdiction of any fictitious and artificial state, will finally be able to live his life in total respect of it, deciding independently on your time. No one will lack the goods necessary for life, because they will be equally distributed. You will decide when it's time to change. The sooner you will self-determine and the sooner, since you no longer have your consent, the old system, which has already been legally divested and foreclosed, will cease to exist and those who have so far practiced and supported they will be tried and convicted of crimes against humanity. Crimes that have already been ascribed to them. Of course, we do not expect these gentlemen to give in easily to their undoing. They will do anything to try to continue to wield their power, even inventing more wars, pandemics and who knows what else to destabilize us, but we no longer need to fear them, because the real power is in our hands. Without us, they are helpless and that is what we need to act on, consensus. Right away, by self-determination, we will emerge from the jurisdiction of the old system, beginning to live a life free of harassment, with new documents and total gratuity for all the goods necessary for life. During this initial transitional period, while waiting for law enforcement to arrest all systemic criminals, once self-determined and all necessary documents are sent to the UCC and SEC, you will have an E-of-Exchange bank account with unlimited flow, allowing you to no longer fear for your life and for shortages of basic necessities of life. The reason for this is to take away the value that has been deceptively attributed to money, because this value is non-existent and fictitious. It has been imposed for the sole purpose of generating slavery in peoples, to the point of obtaining a society that values it, spending their lives chasing it to try to survive, and all of this is easily seen, because like most goods, managed with the dictates of the old system, money, especially, acquires value as a result of scarcity, generating poverty, famine and thus suffering and death. Instead, the self-determined society that will constitute the new governance through the OPPT 1776 procedure will be centered on the abundance of resources available to all, and when the E-of-Exchange account is open and operational for all, it will be understood that the intermediate passage of money between people and the goods necessary for life is unnecessary and limiting and thus, It will be permanently eliminated, and even that account will no longer be needed, because free access to goods will be the norm for all the peoples of the world. Also, in this intermediate stage, the present production of goods and services, in order to avoid shortages, will continue as it is. At first, the self-determined, who will gradually stop doing unrelated and useless work, will be able to begin to be of help to production. At a later stage, when money is officially eliminated, all those who will be free from work pertaining to the same, and they are many millions of people, will also be employed in activities useful to society, relieving everyone's work considerably. In practice, with time, a balance will be achieved, where no one will lack anything, but where everyone, no one excluded, will have to make our contribution to society by using a small part of our time. It is certainly not the same as working uselessly for money for many hours every day, and so we will be happy to make such a contribution, in order to live within a system which really succeeds in taking care of everyone, leaving us a large part of free time for our activities, and raising the level of knowledge of the whole society. There will be many situations to review, but with the right time, this civilization, ours, will truly be able to consider itself evolved, in all respects, and look forward to a future that will no longer be uncertain, but full of well-being, psychophysical health and lasting happiness for all. Self-determination means regaining one's true personal identity and power, gaining conscientious responsibility for oneself, the ability to self-guide oneself in all that concerns the affairs of life and its daily routine, thus no longer having the induced need for someone to do it for us and take care of others, thus not having to submit to any law other than natural law, rejecting the dictates of a nullified, divested and foreclosed slave system, and having the legitimacy to be able to do all this legally, through ratifications obtained by one people public trust, with documentary filings made with the UCC and the SEC in Washington. To self-determine, visit the website https://www.nuisono.com, read everything on it, to come to know in detail what has happened, what one people public trust is and how it has divested the old system and legally generated the possibility of being able to create a new governance. In the part reserved for documents to be sent, you will find everything you need to sanction your self-determination, that is, all the pre-structured forms, to be filled out with your data and instructions for sending PECs, with all the recipients' addresses and expected attachments. If you do not have a PEC email address, register it now. It will be your first step to freedom. To you all I wish a peaceful life, humankind alive and free, without prejudice and without dishonor.